Hey everyone, Techne here with a review of the newly released Corsair keyboard, the K100 RGB. Let me just spoil alert right here, right? This keyboard is packing a serious punch. So we're gonna dive into this, actually look at it and see what is making it the new upgraded one. And we're also gonna compare it to like the K70 or say the K90, some of the other Corsair flagship keyboards, and what is the upgrade. Is it worth the upgrade to go with the K100? So as far as in your box, you're gonna get your manual, some replacement keycaps, kind of rugged, a little concave, lock your fingers in there, a keycap puller, your wrist rest, and then of course your keyboard. Now as far as the wrist rest here, let me tell you what, this thing is stinking cozy and plush. Wow, you can take a snooze on this thing. Flip it over, you got 6 rubber feet on the bottom right there, and it attaches by little magnetized feet right here. As you can see, they're kind of flexible, so whenever you raise the keyboard or set it down, it does adjust with it. And again, you just slide it down on the bottom and it magnetizes. Now, as you can see, looking at the wrist rest flowing right into the keycaps, it does sit a little bit higher than some other wrist rests I have seen out there. But again, it still does have a very nice flow and very comfortable. All right, so first off, let's kick it off with the build of the K100 here. And just like any other Corsair keyboard, this thing is stinking solid. As you can see, you got that metal top plate right there. Looks really crisp and thick. Underneath it, it is plastic, and you do have your rubber feet right back there. Very big, chunky rubber feet though. Look at them guys there. You have 2 levels of pop-out feet. Now, talking about these pop-out feet, these are kind of a stinker. Really nice to have 2 levels right there, but it's not so much them being small as you're seeing, but they're a little bit loose and they're going sideways rather than up and down, right? So me, being someone that moves my keyboard quite a bit, bam, they pop down on me constantly, and that got pretty annoying. As you can see, the smaller one's even a little bit looser, and if I just budged it a little bit, it fell down. So the majority of my time, I had to end up using them flat. Now, as we look at the back of the keyboard, as you can see, your USB cable is attached, very thick, chunky, braided USB cable, but as you see right next to that, you have your pass-through. So again, that's why it's so chunky. You have your power for your keyboard, and then your pass-through USB. And really nice on both USBs, it lets you know, hey, this one's for the keyboard, and that one's for your pass-through. Now we swing back up and look at the top of the keyboard here. As you can see, we have that standard bottom row on Corsair keyboard finally here. So it's really nice. You can fit just about any replacement keycap set on this guy, but honestly, you're not gonna want to. The stock keycaps are stinking solid. Double shot PBT, nice little grainy texture on them. Let me tell you what, the keycaps on these guys are stinking fantastic. Also jumping into where I was gonna talk about the K70, as you can see with the keycaps on the K100 right here, you can see that they reduced the font a little bit. The Corsair keyboards back in the days, they kind of had a real bold, again, rugged font right there. They kind of brought this down, toned it down a little bit right here. But again, these keycaps, the fonts on these, you're not gonna want to change them. They're perfect. So straight up right there, just talking the build, out the box, first impressions, getting your hands on it and feeling it and everything. Let me tell you what, this thing is stinking solid. And just, again, typing on it, just feeling it out of the box, it's like, wow, I love seeing this kind of quality come from big companies. Now, Corsair has been known for quality. Again, K70 used to be my main keyboard. I stinking love it. Out the box, again, rugged, thick, and solid, you know? But where this one also comes into play are these features. Let's check some of these out. Now, starting on the right side of the keyboard, you're gonna have your standard functions as you see with a lot of Corsair keyboards. You're gonna have your media controls, your volume wheel, and then your mute button right there. Now, this volume wheel, smooth rolling right there, and it is metal. Again, just the durability, you feel it in it right there. Swinging over to the middle of the keyboard. Honestly, just looking online, I thought this was gonna be like a screen, kind of like you saw in like the Apex, what was it, Apex 7 or Apex Pro, you know? You kind of got little notifications up there as far as a digital screen, but it's really not. It's this big, you know, glossy black deal that's gonna let you know your caps lock, your windows lock, and any of your basic notifications right there, you know what I mean? So again, it's kind of a little deceived, at least it deceives me a little bit, right? Now when we swing over to the far left of the keyboard, this is where our features and functions start getting really juicy. Number one, let's start off with this big metal wheel right here. As you see, there's RGB around the side right there, and then your mode selector right in the middle. So talking about that selecting modes, you can adjust your brightness, rewind, fast forward your tracks, track selector, or macro recording. Again, just press the button right there as far as which one you want. And you can also choose the color of that ring per each deal, like increase your brightness, whatever. You want it white, it'll decrease and increase as far as your adjustments right there. Really cool, the functionalities that you can get with that wheel right there. Windows lock key, and then your profile selector, because you can save onboard profiles to this keyboard. Now swing over to the far left of the keyboard. As you see, you have your 6 macro keys, G1 through G6, and you can program these to whatever you want. I have a love-hate relationship with these keys over here, right? I love the feature functionality and again, customization with it. Say if you're editing or whatever game you're playing, again, just smack it, bam, and you have what you want. Again, the functions of it are great. But me personally, not using them that much, I kind of feel them in the way. Again, I'm WASD and shifting. Next you know, I'm pressing G5 over here. I'm trying to press escape. I'm pressing G1. Again, it's just the memory of using a keyboard. I usually don't have them right there. So again, then being over there, I think it's that one key I'm going to when in reality it's not. The other really amazing thing about these keys on the side over here, as far as your macros, the G1 through G6, being able to use it with that Elgato software like a Stream Deck. I don't stream and I don't know much about streaming, but I know about the Elgato Stream Decks and I know they're roughly right around what, $100? So say again, if you're a streamer or something like that, I mean, this is gonna play a massive role for you. Again, being right on your keyboard, being able to do whatever you do, not even just as far as having the functions packed into it, just the simplicity of it on that same device right there, saving desk space, and again, being right active right there for your hand. Bam, just press what you need right there. But again, also talking about, again, that feature being built into it. Wow. So as far as features and functions on this keyboard right here, starting with the media controls over here, going into that wheel and then the macros, your pass through and everything, it's like, I mean, this thing's a stinking Swiss Army of keyboards. It has everything going for it, you know what I mean? But we're not gonna stop right there. When you pop the keycaps off, we actually have the new Corsair silver optical switches. And these switches are fast and smooth with 45 grams of force, 3.2 millimeters of travel, and 1 millimeter of actuation. Now talking about those incredibly fast switches, and as you just heard in that sound test right there, I mean, this guy is stinking solid. We had some spacebar chatter right there. We really did, but all the other keys, very solid. And those optical silver switches are across the entire board, from your macros over here to your number pad, across the entire board. Again, stock board, golly, this thing sounds so stinking good. But again, talking about those fast switches, 1 millimeter of actuation. You're gonna get some typos at first, unless you're really used to really light fingers. Me personally, I use a lot of cherry reds, but I also use cherry silvers in a lot of mine. And you're pretty much right around the same. I think cherry silver's like what, 1.5 or 1.3? Probably a little off right there, but pretty close, you know what I mean? So again, I do catch myself getting a lot of typos. It probably took me about, I'd say at least a week to get used to it and kind of reduce my typos. But right out the box, I'm like, yeah, I gotta watch where I'm typing here, you know what I mean? So again, be prepared for that. If you're using it primarily for typing, I think these optical silvers might be a little too fast for you, or at least give it some time to kind of, you know, get used to it. But as far as gaming, wow, complete win. Now also talking about the RGB on the K100 right here, super bright and vibrant, tons of effects on it. Again, you control them right on the keyboard as far as your brightness, the speed, again, all the other effects you can adjust right on the keyboard. And the cool thing about it is, say whenever you restart your PC or whatever, it's gonna save right to that profile that you had preset right there. It doesn't wipe back to the beginning. I absolutely love that right there. But again, kind of talking this RGB and all these features and functions we talked about right there, you also get to dive into IQ software and you get to really control it right there. Again, also with the onboard storage and everything as far as your RGB, your macros and all that stuff. So again, when you dive into IQ, you just unlock so much control on this guy. I mean, heck, just look at all the RGB options right here. The different zones just around that one little wheel, as far as the back and the sides and everything, you know what I mean? I mean, so much control. Again, just looking at the RGB, the adjustability and zones of the RGB, and then the features and functions right there. It's just wow. All right, so like I stated in the beginning, I wanted to touch on the Corsair K100 versus the K70 SE. Again, not really like averse, but kind of looking at it like, what's the differences? Is it worth the upgrade and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So number one, straight out the box, build to build, let me tell you what, these both are incredibly solid, just as you see in pretty much all Corsair products, you know what I mean? Very rugged, very durable, and very solid builds. Straight out the box, one thing you'll notice different is the wrist rest. The K70, again, just kind of have that old classic hard plastic style right there. K100, the soft, plush pillow-like. So again, that's a clear as day difference. Minor to me, at least, because I never used a wrist rest. One thing you'll really notice difference, besides the color, of course, is the bottom row. K70, you have the little goofy short bottom row as far as your Windows keys and stuff like that. Coming over here to the K100, you have the standard bottom row. So again, you can put any replacement keycap set on it if you wish. Now coming up to the top right of both keyboards, quite similar. You have your media controls, pretty much a spin image of them. Again, a little bit of different curvature right here. K70, notifications, caps lock, num block. You just got those couple dots up there. K100, you have that nice glossy screen giving you all your notifications up there. Again, that goes swinging right to the far left of the boards. K100 with that nice wheel with all that control we had right there. On the K70, you have the 3 buttons right there. The biggest difference right here are going to be these macros, G1 through G6 on the K100, where you don't have it on the K70. Also with that Elgato, the Stream Deck control right there. So again, you look at difference to difference right here. As far as basic build and quality, they're both incredibly solid, you know? The biggest difference going K100 right here is the features and functions. The keys, the switches also are a big difference. The K70, you do have cherry silvers, which are very fast switches. But again, coming over here to the opticals, they are much faster and much smoother. In my opinion, I think they sound a bit different. Also on the K70, you get a little bit of a ting whenever you're typing, or a very faint, mild ting. On the K100, I don't really hear any. But again, the biggest difference right here are features and functions and the switches packed into the K100. So that pulls me right into my conclusion of the K100. Talking about price, the K100 comes in at $230 bucks. That's a lot of money for a keyboard, right? That's a whole lot of money, right? Obviously, as we just looked at, clear as day, it's totally worth it, hands down. But where we really want to stand with this right here, say if you're using a K70 or something like that right now, is it worth the upgrade? K70 is 180 bucks. Not even is it just worth the upgrade. Which one should you get? This being, again, 180 bucks, or this guy being 230. Me personally, if you're looking at buying a new keyboard, go K100. Right? That's what I would go with, the K100 over the K70. Not saying anything's wrong with the K70. Again, a fantastic board, but you're not talking about too much of a difference. I mean, still a hefty amount to change. But again, if you're buying a keyboard like this, it's not a keyboard that you're going to change out within a few months. You're going to hold on to this guy for a while. And again, I think the K100 is going to hold you over for quite a while. Again, with the features and functions. Now, you can also go with that a different route. Do you not need these macros? Do you not need that Steam Deck control? Do you not care about all these other features and functions on it? Then go with the K70 or something like that. You're perfectly fine with this over here, and I love this keyboard. But again, when you look at, again, if you're already buying a premium keyboard with that little bit of an increase, the K100 is going to cover you, again, for some time to come. So all in all, the Corsair K100, as I just stated, you get my full recommendation right here. Yes, it is a pricey keyboard, but it's not a pricey keyboard where you're like paying for that name brand or something, you know what I mean? You're getting what you pay for right here. Top to bottom, again, inside and out right here. You are getting your money's worth with this keyboard. What I would like to see in the future, Corsair, if you're watching this, can we get this in a TKL? I would love that, and that would stay on my desk as far as my gaming desk as a TKL. Yes, I do use a full-size keyboard on my work computer. All the time I use a full-size keyboard there. But as far as my game desk, I need at least a TKL. So Corsair, let's get this in a TKL. You know what I just realized? I got the box upside down right here. Did you guys catch that? That the box was good night. Come on, what are we, amateurs here? We're supposed to be a professional YouTube review channel. Like, tighten up back there, guys, come on. Jeez, slackers, you know? I really don't have anyone working for me. But anyways, thank you so much for stopping by and watching my review on the Corsair K100 right here. I hope I answered the question if you're looking at this board right here, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for future tech videos. I hope I catch you in the next one. Bye now.